Hello. So it's going to be a little bit of a change of tact for this live stream than the ones I've been making up until recently. The ones up until recently have been mostly context to my life and the ridiculous happenings that is my life. But I've been lying here all day fighting all the things that have been said on previous live streams. And this is getting too much and I don't know what to do. And in this place, I thought I'd try and do the only thing I can. And that is to make a live stream, but make it a little bit more positive. So I had a little think what I could make a live stream about, like what spiritual topics and everything else. And what sprung to mind was, well, what I was just thinking about, what was running through my mind. So I'm fighting physical pain and beyond. Was a case of how ridiculous my life is getting in terms of polarized realities. In other words, it's like I'm in a dream or a coma. That's what I believe. Where I'm in that place, it's like the person who's running the dream runner, has sort of run out of ideas of what else to create stories about. And what's coming in front of me on a daily basis is just more and more ridiculous, more and more out there and wacky. And it kind of looks like on one level the dream is coming to an end. I might be here for a while longer, but that's what it looks like at the moment. And on that point, what comes to mind is Carlos Castaneda, because I can't remember the exact phrase, but in terms of, in fact, because my mental health is disturbing me, I'm not going to say it. It's not worth it. Sorry. It would be nice to share, but I'm too disturbed with my mental health at the moment to offer it up. But what I'm essentially doing is praying that praying to the dream runner what gifts of this dream I might be able to be granted when I return to the real world. I don't know where the real world is, when the real world is, how the real world is, and everything else. So it could be any time in my life. It could be a past life. I could even be any of the great masters of the past. I could be a nobody in the past. I could even be in the future. Anything is really possible when we're suffering amnesia and we become aware our reality is a lie and we're in a dream. My dreams aren't too out there when I sleep, but I've had some weird ones in the past. I can well imagine, you take a psychoactive substance, the dreams get really, really LSD-like, and it's very altered from our current reality. So any of those possibilities I said are real. My mental health, for instance, has tried to feed me countless of times that I believe I'm more likely to be Muhammad than I am Jesus. But then that's just a total guess. I don't even know I'm Muhammad. But I don't even know Muhammad exists in the real world. But on that note, it's a good place to start. So we'll start broad. I'll start broad. I don't know if where I'm going to end up. I don't know if it is my real life. In other words, I don't know if it is a coma I entered at the age of 4, 13, 20, whatever, or if I'm in another body altogether. And on account of that, I'd hope to remember as much of the dream as possible. I know with spirituality, it's a case of the work we put in, the amount of energy that we can give. There's a certain process to being allowed to remember. So I'd hope to be able to remember as much of it as possible, because if it's a dream or not, it's experience. And if I'm taking this back to my body when I was an 8-year-old, for instance, this is worth its weight in gold. I've been in therapy for many, many years, I'm certain, to try and sort the mess out. But imagine living a whole life in a dream and then going back to an 8-year-old's body. You'd know what you want to do in the world, and you'd do it properly, and you wouldn't make the same mistakes. I'm sorry for my voice. It's really pathetic the way my mental health is making me sound at the moment. It's my mental health. It's not giving me the faculty to correct it. Essentially, I've got a mucus stuck right up in my head. It's making me sound a bit whiny at times, and I can't stand whininess. Not in my voice. It doesn't suit me. And I give everything to try and not to have mucus in my head for that reason. And it's horrible to try and breathe through, which is the main reason. Forget the sound of my voice. But the anger towards not being able to breathe makes me hate the whininess, because that's the result. Anyway, I got off track a little bit there. So one is to remember as much as possible, because with my life, I know this is a movie script in the at least, it's a movie script that would rival any series like Lord of the Rings and The Matrix to no extent. So it would be money, but I'm not even thinking about the money. It's the gift of the spiritual information to the average human. And my humour, which is head fucking, sorry, let me rephrase that. My humour is to confuse the mind with facts, which is just the questions I have to the world. But if you put it into a movie and embed facts about the world that you just cannot deny, and then build a story that interlinks them all, which is just my life in this world, to the average person, it's a head fuck, because I don't believe most people think that way. And it's not humour to me, it's my suffering every day, but I appreciate to show another average person this picture is a head fuck, and you can have a laugh about it. So there's that element. Plus, I've been allowed to realise that mathematics is broken to a certain extent, and being given code for a quantum computer, both on classical computers and on quantum computers, and to embed that within a movie, a multi-trillion-dollar bit there in the open, that will blow some minds. So to also go back and be allowed to remember the experience as an 8-year-old and be able to tell people about spirituality when I had no real idea of spirituality as an 8-year-old. I mean, I had an idea of it, but no real concepts or reference to how it would work. So to go back and then start telling people about all of this information would be great in the spiritual level. I love spirituality in this world. I don't know where I stand right now with it, but as this has, sorry, it's getting a bit dark now as the light's going down. As this life, as this dream, I don't know how else to reference it. I'm going to cut my leg off in a second. I'm in so much pain. I don't know how else to reference it. But as the dream has progressed and in these later stages, these last, well, it's been in the background for, whenever it started, I've always had a crush on somebody. Always had a problem with it as a teenager. Never really found love and always wanted love. But I had my mental health disorder and was totally focused on my mental health disorder and wasn't able to give much energy that way. And there's been this background love story building slowly for, and I apologise for my voice again, I want to cut my neck off now and tongue out. But there's been this background love story that's been forming, I don't know, for 5-6 years, something like that. And it has links to my past as well. And I've recently admitted, you know what, given everything, given the story that is this surreal life, I commit to that love. And I've attempted to take it forward, but it's gone nowhere. And in the strangest way, as much as it's gone nowhere, the story is telling me in a very real way to my understanding of my life that this love is real. It might not be real here. When I go back to my real body, this love is there on some level. It might be a painful love. My body, and this was my partner in a previous life, and they've just walked out on me. And that's really what it looks like more than anything. So I really hope it's not that, or that they've passed away. I really hope that. And in terms of me going back to my body, so I was 15 and I entered the coma rather than it being a past life. Maybe I've been gifted something within spirituality where it's like spiritual fishing for love. You go through a process of spending, well, what would it be, 20, 21 years, if it was when I was 15, going through a process of growing up to the point where you have the maturity to fall in love and to question that love and for the feelings to be very, very real, but not to be able to go forward with it. When you go back to your body when you're 15, and that's like one of the last things that took place, that's going to be on your mind as a 15-year-old, isn't it? And really and truly, you're going to want to find that person and take it forward. I can only imagine that the dream has given me the clues how to find that person in the real world, or maybe it doesn't. Maybe I just have to go back and live my life and be patient. And maybe again, after 15 years, will I find that person? I don't know. But to who the person is in this world, it would be lovely to fall in love with someone like that. I can't imagine a better picture for someone to fall in love with. But the horrible truth is that the dream has been so brutal, so nightmarish. And as I said, I think I'd have to spend years in therapy when I go back. And I apologise for my voice again, it's horrible. Just to get my head straight to this experience. I'd have to be I can't express to anybody how real and touching to the very core this experience has been. And for that reason, where it's been so traumatic, I don't know if it would be appropriate to take that love forward in the real world, if I'd want to. But that'd be a question there, and I guess one, more than anything, it's a case of if it's not that person, then for one day to fall in love with someone that's has everything that picture has, because it's just a beautiful picture, but it is a dream. And two, to be able to remember as much as possible, so I'm able to make that decision in the real world as to whether I want to go forward with that individual. My dream is so traumatizing. I know I'd need to have that space as much as I want to say, fuck it, it's worth everything, I'd fall in love. No, I'd need that space, and it would be some space I'd need. But it'd be lovely to see my family again, if it is this life. And when I go back, I wouldn't want to be too young. And it's getting really dark now. I'm going to wrap up the live stream because I'm about to cut my tongue out with my voice. I wouldn't want to be too young if I got given the chance. I'd rather be no older than about 14 or 15, ready to get on with my life. And 14 or 15, you've got about a year or two before you're 16 and you start to take steps into the world. So I give myself a holiday for a year or two, just going to school and pretending to do classes like I'm a 14-year-old. I don't know how the mentality works, being able to remember such a adult mind within a 14-year-old's body. But I'd give myself a holiday. But then again, school wasn't a holiday for me. I got bullied the fuck out of, and wasn't a pleasant time. So really and truly, if I went back, I can only imagine this is part of the process to help me gain emotional maturity to a painful situation. And at 15, my grandmother passed away, and this love story has elements linked to that. And I can't remember if it was before or after my grandmother passed away, but it was, I tell you what, if I go back with this voice, it's going to make no difference whatsoever because it's that bad. But I got bulimia, and I was very severely depressed for many years. So I'm sure this dream is just basically to gain the emotional maturity for that. So I half suspect it's probably between the age of about 15 and maybe 19 when I had bulimia and depression. I guess I remember how horrible it was. And so I'm going to have to end the live stream. My voice is that bad. Anyway, it's a new week. Don't work too hard and everything else. Blah, blah, blah. Goodbye. I cannot deal with this